Okay, welcome back. In the last video, we talked about applying the Pythagorean theorem to distance and just using a simple Pythagorean theorem formula to solve for distance between 2 points. Let's go ahead now and talk about the actual distance formula. The distance formula can be expressed as distance equals the square root of delta x squared plus delta y squared, where delta x means the change in x. So how much is x changing between 2 points? And delta y means a change in y. In other words, let's say I have the point 2, 3 and negative 1, 5. How much is x changing from 2 to negative 1? Well, if you think about 2 to negative 1 is, you go, let's see, negative 3. So your delta x would be negative 3, because to get from 2 to negative 1, you have to move left 3. And then from 3 to 5, that's your y, so your delta y would be up 2. So that's how you express your delta x and your delta y. So let's find the distance of segment AB. And we're going to, of course, use our formula, delta x squared plus delta y squared equals d. Of course, don't forget the square root sign over all of that. So let's start by formalizing that. Let's take what point A is. Point A is at negative 4, negative 1. And point B is at 3, positive 4. How do you go from negative 4 to 3? Well, if you think of a number line, negative 4 to 3 would just be, you're going to move 7 to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you think of your delta y, negative 1 to 4, well, that's negative 1 to 4 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your delta x is negative 7, your delta y, your delta x is positive 7, your delta y is 5. So let's go ahead and plug these in to solve now. So we get the square root of 7 squared plus 5 squared equals d. Well, 7 squared is 49 plus 25. And then 49 plus 25 is 74. And you just type in the square root of 74 in to get your final answer. So d is about 8.6. So this line, or the segment from A to B, is about 8.6 units long. Here's another football question where you're standing and you're throwing it to your receiver. I guess you can consider this football, you can consider this frisbee, soccer, how far you kick the ball. You could use this for a lot of situations. Pause the video at this point and try this question out. Okay, let's figure where you're standing. You are standing at point 30, 15. Your receiver is at, let's see, negative 10, negative 20, negative 30, and 0, because they're right here on this axis. So your delta x from 30 to negative 30 is going to be negative 60. Your delta y from 15 to 0 is you go down 15. So let's plug in to our formula here. So we get the square root of negative 60 squared plus negative 15 squared equals d. Well, negative times a negative is a positive. So you get 3,600 plus 225. That's why the negative cancels out. Don't forget your square root sign. Which gives you the square root of 3825. So then you just type that in your calculator to finish this off. And you get about 61.8. So that point is 61.8 if you drew the segment. Hopefully you're able to see that and get that. Okay. Here's a distance problem involving distance between two cities. So pause the video again and try it out. Okay, so if your x is 150 and negative 200, what's your change in x? Well, to get from 150 to 0, it's 150. and then go another 200, gives you 350. Your change in y will be 500. So once again, you plug those in. 350 squared plus 500 squared equals d. Plug that in your calculator. So 350 squared plus 500 squared gives you a really big number. Let's see here. We get 350 squared plus 500 squared is, my calculator's better me. So you could easily just plug that in, and we're going to stop the video here while I get a new one. Okay, sorry about that. When you plug in 350 squared plus 500 squared, you get 372,500. Take the square root of that number to get your d, and the answer becomes about 610.3. So it's an easy way that you can calculate distance between two places. Finally, if you look at these will be the last ones we do. You get 2 points for each segment. So your delta x from -3 to +3 is 6, because it takes 6 to get from -3 to 3. And from 5 to -4, let's see, 5 is 0 is 5, and then you got to go 4 more, so -9. So I'll just plug them in. 6 squared plus -9 squared equals d. So that gives you the square root of 36, and the negative times a negative is a positive, so positive 81. So 36 plus 81 gives you 117, so the square root of 117 equals about 10.8. So this segment is about 10.8 units long. And finally, if you do this one, you could actually use the distance formula, or you could just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that was pretty simple. So please continue practicing and see what you can do with the distance. Thank you for watching.